Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Pay-per-view featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Canelo Promotions and TGB Promotions in association with Matchroom Boxing. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is...
Errol Spence, the other welterweight champion, who watched that knockdown, put his hand to his face and said, I'm out of here.
Mr. Thurman, what did you think of the atmosphere here today?
Oh man, the atmosphere was amazing. Brought us back to that epic, energy that Thurman, Pacquiao, Mayweather, Pacquiao, just the big fights, man, where the fans really come out to support. You have.
Well, finished 12 rounds, but Crawford is he did a good job.
Is Crawford fan number one? Fan for fan number one?
I think so.
Is Bud fan for fan number one? Fan for fan number one?
Yeah, I think so. I think Crawford is fan number one because the vet, especially.
Because it's not interesting to see the fight when one person doesn't want to win at all. But it was hard to fight for Canelo because he was always aiming. And even
Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez just met in the ring for the biggest fight of their careers, and what we saw was everything boxing fans could have dreamed of and more. This wasn't a mismatch, it wasn't a cash grab, and it wasn't hype without substance. This was two pound-for-pound kings colliding under the bright lights of Las Vegas, and for 12 rounds, they gave us a fight that will be replayed, argued about, and remembered for decades. Whether you believe Crawford was daring too much by jumping 2 weight classes, or you thought Canelo was already slowing down and ripe for the taking, this fight erased the doubt. Both men showed why they're great. Both men left the ring with their reputations intact, and the debate over who won might last longer than the fight itself. From the start, you knew this wasn't going to be easy for either man. Crawford didn't run, he didn't fight scared. He came forward in spots, switching stances, using his timing to sting Canelo with sharp counters. Every time people doubted his ability to handle the size, he showed composure. He slipped shots, fired clean combinations, and used his footwork to keep Canelo from planting his feet too often. But Canelo was no passive target. He imposed himself with that trademark pressure, cutting the ring, throwing to the body, leaning on Bud in the clinches to make him carry weight. Every hook to the ribs drew a roar from the crowd. You could feel the weight difference, and for stretches of the fight, Crawford had to bite down just to keep Canelo honest. It wasn't a one-sided domination. It was a back-and-forth chess match where power met precision. There were moments Crawford's speed froze, Canelo snapping his head back with counters that landed flush. And there were moments Canelo's body shots had Bud circling, adjusting, trying not to get stuck on the ropes.
And then the best man did his thing, man. Crawford, I knew he was crafty. I told everybody he got a new nickname, Crafty Crawford, and he showed all that craftsmanship here tonight. The speed was too much. That 140 moving up, it happened to me and Pacquiao. Those little guys, as they move up, they bring all that speed, and he also had the power.
For weeks leading into the showdown, the boxing world was split right down the middle. Some analysts looked at the size and dismissed Crawford's chances completely. Weight classes exist for a reason, Antonio Tarver said before fight week. Canelo Alvarez is a natural super middleweight with a history of crushing smaller men. Crawford's skills are real, but he's biting off more than he can chew.
167 and a half.
That's right.
Good right.
That's right. Y'all seen that, right? Everybody seen that, right?
Others argued that greatness lives in risk. Andre Ward was one of them. The former undefeated champion, who knows everything about moving through divisions, didn't hesitate to pick Crawford. Bud's got that killer mindset, he said. He doesn't just adapt. He takes your weapon away and makes you question yourself. Canelo hasn't faced someone with Bud's IQ in years.
Shane, what do you think about Canelo and Crawford?
I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. I think that the reason why, if Crawford was a mover, like the rest of the fight, then maybe he can have a good chance with Canelo. But I think that being that Crawford is a fighter, That's gonna be his problem. He's a fighter. He wants to fight. He's gonna move a little bit, but his heart is not in moving. So he's gonna have to sit there and fight with Canelo. If you sit there and fight with Canelo, and he's that much bigger than you, then I don't know. But everybody think, Crawford, he's a great boxer, he's this, he's that, which he is. He's a great fighter. And I think he's a great fighter at 140, 47. And he seems just to be, good at 54. Now we're going to 68.
How many more tricks has Canelo learned since you last fought him?
And then you had the cautious voices. Bernard Hopkins framed it around mentality. He compared Canelo to Marvin Hagler, a versatile champion who only stumbled when he underestimated a smaller, faster man. If Canelo gives Bud too much respect, it'll be a close fight, Hopkins said. But if he presses, if he uses the size and strength, he can make Bud feel it early.
Man, what's up, fight fans? It's official. I'm going to be the third man ringside calling the Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford fight September 13th at Allegiant Stadium. I'm excited to be a part of this event. I'm excited to be ringside calling this great card and this great matchup. Historic event for many, many reasons for both fighters. Super middleweight supremacy on the line. Legacy's on the line. Your namesake and reputation is on the line. And I just take my hat off to both of these fighters for putting everything on the line late in their careers the way that they are. This is rare, and it's becoming more and more rare in boxing. Guys don't want this kind of smoke. They really don't want to face another counterpart that can ruin everything that they've built. And it really don't matter how much money's on the table for a lot of guys. They'd rather take a lesser risk for less money than to risk everything like these two fighters are doing. So I take my hat off to them. And I also want to give a shout out to Turki Al-Sheikh for all that he's done to put this fight on. Dana White for all that he's done to put this fight on. And one more person that stays out the way and you don't really hear a lot about, but that has done a lot to make this fight happen as well. And that's my brother, Nick Khan. He just gets stuff done, man. And I want to thank him and shout him out as well for getting this done. So I see y'all in Vegas, man. Part of me wants to be home watching this fight in street clothes, but I got to take the street clothes off. I got work to do. I got to put that suit on, get ringside with John and Max, and call this fight like I know we can. Huge event, huge implications, historic night, and I'm happy to be a part. I hope to see you in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. If not, man, tune in live on Netflix.
Everyone had an opinion, and that's what made the opening bell so electric. The knowledge that half the world would be proven right and half would be proven wrong.
Canelo versus Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
September 13th. Now, what's interesting is I actually looked up the odds on this. I went on betonline.ag.
Yeah.
Canelo is minus 180. Crawford is 139, which means that Canelo is favored. Not massively favored. So it's like the way this works is that you'd have to bet $180 to make $100. Almost 2-1, like 1.8 favored over Crawford, who's 139. So that means if you bet $100 on Crawford, you'll get $139 back.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I'm just kind of learning this now. Do you feel that Canelo's going to win?
No.
Really?
No.
So you would put your money on Crawford?
Yes.
You'd make money. Just putting that out there. Why do you think Crawford's going to beat him?
Because Crawford could find people to fight like Canelo, who is amazing. Canelo has he evolved. I saw how he evolved defensively and everything. I just don't think he's as fast as Crawford. And I think Crawford is just a little step ahead as far as movement is concerned. And so I think it's going to be Mayweather Canelo part 2. That's what I think.
I mean, Canelo is naturally heavier.
Yeah. Crawford ain't going to knock him out, but I don't know if Canelo's going to land very solidly on Crawford. Canelo's way better now, but I still think there's an edge. It won't necessarily be exactly like that, but I think he'll edge him out point-wise. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, so he'll win in the points. Okay.
Because points. I just think still Canelo needs to be set before he fires. His basics are solid, but Crawford is jazz fusion, I feel. He can do unconventional things where Canelo is conventional. He's perfect conventional, but it's kind of like, It's like Allen Iverson. It's the crossover. It's the thing that you just, just a little bit different. That just gives you, all you need is that little bit of an edge. And I think Crawford has that.
Canelo Crawford coming up September. What do you think about that fight?
Canelo Crawford, good fight. Good fight. Canelo has advantage because Crawford moving up, but my advice to Crawford is like maintain the speed, improve the speed, and improve the strength. Because it's hard to go up in the high weight and maintain your speed. So speed is the key. Like he should focus on speed, footwork, and improve the power.
What made this fight so fascinating was how it lined up with all the pre-fight talk.
How sure are you today that you win this fight?
I'm 1,000% sure now. You gotta think. Going into a fight, you don't know what's gonna happen. You can get injuries. He can get injuries. Like there's so many things that goes on in a boxing match. The judges, the ref, like just everything, preparation. So you're not 100% sure. If a fighter say, "Oh, I'm 1,000% sure," they lying. Because you got to go out there and perform at the end of the day. And I'm more than ready to go out there and perform this Saturday.
Tarver's warning about size? He wasn't wrong. You could see how much heavier Canelo's shots were, how the bodywork drained Crawford over the course of 12 rounds.
And Canelo only need one punch. You know what I mean? That really, basically, that's what it boils down to. I think Canelo only need one shot to change the game or change the fight. Crawford gonna have to stay consistent and win out. He's gonna have to get ahead and stay ahead. You know what I mean? And then also looming is the controversy. Can Crawford win a close decision? I could never win a close decision. I never won a close decision. That's what's looming. I think if Crawford is going to guarantee victory, he got to stop him.
A man who ain't been stopped.
He got to stop him, bro.
It's challenge.
So that's going to be the challenge. So I like Bud. I've always loved Bud, bro. But he in for a hell of a fight. If Saul show up, it's going to be problems. You heard me?
But Ward's prediction about Crawford's IQ? Also true. Bud's adjustments mid-fight kept him from being overwhelmed. Every time Canelo looked like he was about to take over, Crawford found a new angle or a new rhythm to slow the charge. Hopkins' point about respect also came alive. In the early rounds, Canelo gave Bud just a bit too much space, testing instead of pressing. That allowed Crawford to steal moments with his timing. But as the fight went deeper, Canelo's pride kicked in. He pressed harder, forcing Crawford to fight fire with fire. The result? A fight that felt like it could tilt either way depending on what you value more. The heavier, damaging shots from Canelo, or the cleaner, sharper counters from Crawford. Sean Porter, who knows Crawford firsthand, had said before the fight that Bud was a monster, but this is a different kind of monster. Watching from ringside, he nodded through the middle rounds as Canelo's power showed, but by the end, even Porter had to admit Crawford's composure was beyond impressive.
The others say, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
David Benavidez, the looming threat at 168, tweeted during the bout, "Respect to both. They went to war. But I still want Canelo next." That's how big this fight was. It didn't just define Crawford and Canelo, it shaped the future of the division.
What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? He's asking $200 million. Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's going to make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him at like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you're the cash cow, you can do whatever you want.
For Canelo, this fight was about proving he's still the king at super middleweight, still the face of boxing, even after critics claimed his best days were behind him. And no matter how you scored it, he showed enough to keep that throne contested but intact.
Robert Diaz said that he thinks Bomac might throw the towel in to stop the fight.
Oh, could be. In boxing, everything can happen, right?
Do you believe you knock him out?
Yeah, why not?
For Crawford, this was about daring to be great. He didn't just step up and wait, he stepped into the lion's den against a man who's built to punish smaller fighters. And he didn't break. He proved that IQ and heart can travel divisions.
But, you know, some people say that you've not faced the level of power and precision to the body that Canelo brings, that he's different. Do you think he brings anything different to the table that you haven't seen?
Well, they always say that, you know. They say that with Spence. He's the body snatcher. He's going to break my ribs and so forth. You know, we shall see.
How do you want people to remember this performance when it's all said and over? What's the headline the next day?
Listen, they're gonna come up with their own analogy, you know. All I know is they're going to be saying Terence Crawford was spectacular September 13th.
Both men left the ring with legacies enhanced. Crawford for daring, Canelo for enduring. The fight didn't give us a simple answer. It gave us a memory that proves why these two are special. So what's next? Talk of a rematch is already buzzing. Fans want to see this again, maybe at a catchweight, maybe with different adjustments, maybe just to settle the debate once and for all. David Benavidez looms for Canelo, and for Crawford, the possibilities at 154 or 160 remain.
I was worried about collecting them belts and getting my name in the history books as one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. Floyd Mayweather has always been pound for pound king when he was boxing. Then once my name started getting mentioned in the top pound for pound rankings, then that's when I was like, all right, Floyd retired, Andre Ward retired. There's no doubt about it that I'm pound for pound best fighter in the world.
But for now, this fight is its own moment. A rare night where hype met reality, where two legends stepped up and showed exactly why they're called pound-for-pound greats. So there you have it. Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez gave us a fight that lived up to everything Netflix promised. It wasn't about easy narratives. It was about pride, skill, and heart colliding on the biggest stage boxing has ever seen. What did you think? Who do you think edged it? Canelo with the power and bodywork, or Crawford with the precision and IQ? Drop your full takes in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next video.